This subject came up the other day, and one of the team shared this experience. So we asked him to record this so we can share it. It's a good story, so we hope you like it.
Ever landed in Italy thinking, surely most people here speak English, only to find yourself in a charming Tuscan village or a picturesque Umbrian town with absolutely zero English speakers? You're not alone. Let me tell you what happened to me. I hadn't been to Europe for quite a while, and the only Italian I knew were words you definitely shouldn't use in public. Anyway, my partner, who has an Italian background, really wanted to visit her aunt, and coincidentally, my cousin gifted us 2 surprise tickets to Rome. Separate story, but wow! I had intended to learn some Italian in advance. I even signed up for a language learning app, but unsurprisingly, I didn't end up using it. So we arrived in Rome, family met us, and we set off toward the rolling hills of Umbria, where they lived. This was my first deep dive into Italy beyond Rome, Florence, or Venice. During the 2-hour drive north, the conversation was entirely in Italian. Thankfully, my partner translated most of it, and there was plenty to see through the car windows, so it didn't seem too strange. At this point, I emphasize, at this point, we arrived at lunchtime to a virtual feast. Suddenly, I found myself in an apartment filled with family members who spoke no English. The conversations flowed rapidly in Italian, and my partner, stressed and overwhelmed, tried her best to translate between me and everyone else. It hit me then. I had become virtually nonverbal, the quietest I'd been since birth. Here I was, completely immersed in full-on Italian culture, language, habits, and cuisine. Honestly, it was confronting. We all know how hospitable Italians can be, especially in their own homes. I felt like I was letting the team down by not adequately expressing my gratitude. Our family had planned an incredible itinerary, including a 3-day trip to Florence with accommodations in a fantastic hotel, right in the heart of the city. On Christmas night, we arrived after a 2-hour regional train ride. Of course, being the mute, I observed quietly, until we reached the Hard Rock Cafe for dinner, where a Polish waitress spoke pretty good English. I mentioned how much I was struggling without Italian, and she nodded understandingly. She explained that in major tourist areas, younger people often spoke some English, typically learned at school. But in Umbria and surrounding regions, people deeply valued their language and culture, often choosing not to learn English at all. Great. No hope there. We saw some truly amazing cities, towns, historical sites, and medieval villages. But I vividly remember visiting Bavarnia in Umbria, a town you absolutely must see. We went to a historic paper-making facility that operated exactly as it had 500 years ago. The guide spoke only Italian, and my partner struggled to grasp and translate the detailed explanations. At one point, I tried asking a question, watching the guide strain to understand, and later realizing how badly I'd butchered the Italian was humbling. Next, we visited a 2,000-year-old Roman mill beneath a medieval house set up as it would have been in the 1100s. Our guide here was a history professor who bravely attempted English, but struggled with the finer points. Right then, it struck me profoundly. Although this trip was incredible, I was missing out on the deeper history, culture, and human connections because of the language barrier. At that moment, I resolved that before my next visit, I would learn enough Italian to genuinely connect, not just with family and locals, but also with the rich experiences Italy offers. Speaking Italian is an absolute necessity if you want to break free from typical tourist sites and dive deeply into the real Italy. And trust me, the real Italy goes far beyond Rome, Florence, the Amalfi Coast, and Venice. Now, whenever we arrive in Rome, we quickly head elsewhere, returning for just a night or two before heading home. While Italy's main tourist spots often have English-speaking locals, stepping even slightly off the beaten path can leave you feeling utterly lost. Imagine yourself standing before a jaw-dropping historic site, eager to unlock its secrets, only to find the guide speaks exclusively Italian. Suddenly, you're nodding politely, but understanding absolutely nothing. It's awkward, like being mute in a world full of stories you desperately want to hear. Understanding Italian is the difference between walking on history or walking through it. Everywhere in Italy has profound stories, but if you don't understand the language, you simply won't know. The good news? Learning even a little Italian before your trip transforms your travel experience. Not only can you connect more authentically, but you'll never have to feel lost or disconnected from Italy's magic again. So how did it all end for me? Well, encouraged by my partner's cousin who said I was picking up some of the words easily, I determined to actually start learning when I got home, so that this experience would have improved for next time. To cut to the chase, I am now fluent in Italian, having started with Babbel when I got home. COVID lockdown grounded us, so I then migrated my studies to an online university course. But the game changer for me was when I discovered Preply. Last trip to Italy, we were holding conversations with complete strangers, traveled off the beaten track independently with no problem, and I was even complimented in a restaurant in Rome by a Roman-born Italian professional. That's big. Definitely a huge improvement on my first experience. So there you have it. I can now be as boring and annoying in 2 languages. Excellent. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, can you please like and subscribe? That really helps us out. Thank you.